Assalamualaikum. My name is Auni Syakirah Binti Zamiri from the IT4A. So, in this semester, I take a subject which is cross-culture management, and in this subject, I learn about cross-culture negotiation. So, why we should learn about cross-culture negotiation? We must learn about cross-culture negotiation to make sure process to make a negotiation with other countries will be smooth because different countries have different cultures. So let me present about cross-culture negotiation. So can you guess which country I want to negotiate with? So ta-da! So the country is United Arab Emirates. So did you know that United Arab Emirates became an independent country in 1971? And Dubai is the largest city in United Arab Emirates. And Dubai has always been a attractive destination for students because of its port and relatively lenient culture compared to the strict Islamic culture of its neighbors. And this made it more adjustable to foreigners pertinently its rulers recognize this and the opportunity it's presented. So next is fun facts of United Arab Emirates. The first one is for location, and first is location. The United Arab Emirates is situated in the Middle East and Southwest Asia. So for bordering the Gulf of Oman and the Persian Gulf between Oman and Saudi Arabia. So it is a strategic location along the northern approach to the Strait of Hormuz, a vital transit line for crude oil. And next is the currency. So for currency for United Arab Emirates is dirham. Or we also can we also can eat as AED, which is stand for United Arab Emirates dirham. So it is the currency abbreviation for the United Arab Emirates dirham. So the official currency of Dubai and other Emirates. It is often presented with the symbol DHS or DH, and the United Arab Emirates dirham has been used since 1973, and when it replaced several currencies such as the Dubai Riyal and the Qatar Riyal. Next is the language of United Arab Emirates. So Arabic is spoken by also the language of United Arab Emirates is Arabic, and Arabic is spoken by around 420 million people worldwide and is the official language of the United Arab Emirates. As a language varies and sometimes only distinct accents and dialects, it can be complex and intimidating, but also like lyrical and beautiful. Although Arabic consistently ranks among the hardest language to learn, they who master it will find useful across large swaths of the globe, as well as in tasty restaurants everywhere. So next is the religion. So Islam is the official religion of the United Arab Emirates. The constitution enshrines Islam as the official religion at the state, and there are laws against blasphemy, proselytizing by non-Muslim, and converting from Islam. But the constitution also grants freedom of worship as long as not contradict public policy or morals. A which is a vague definition that critics say give the government what birth to interpret what acceptable forms of worship are. So we go to next. The differences in interpersonal communication between Western and Arab culture. So for the both culture, which is Western and Arab, they have a rather carefree style of communication. So the difference, they are different, but however, comes in the social model. For example, Spaniards are more flexible and open in terms of social norms. On the other hand, Arab are generally more socially conservative and follow a certain linguistic ritual. Next is when it comes to the physical distance, Westerners tend to be steps. This is because in Islam there should have a gap between a man and a woman who didn't have blood related. So next is negotiation process. For cultural aspect influence the outcome of negotiation. First is keep their religious belief in mind and respect them. So Islam is deeply rooted in the United Arab Emirates and forms a huge part of their daily private and business lives. Second is dress modesty. So this is important throughout the entire Middle East region in general because it applies more for women but for men as well, especially if you were to present a good impression. So for the safest option, you just can wear formal and professional. Third one is accept whatever they offer you. So it is generally a good rule to go by, or you may offend them. So remember when to be gracious and thank them for their food and hospitality. So next is key to success when negotiating with United Arab Emirates. So first is be flexible. Have the ability to adapt and be flexible. So it's essential when negotiating. You should have a clear strategy, but one with enough flexibility to allow for changes without losing your business objective. Next is be consistent, stay close, which is the constant and continual monitoring of business operation in Arab countries is fundamental to achieve results. For us, this may appear intrusive and annoying, but it's normal for the Arabs. Next is be friends with them, not business partners. So in a traditional society such as the Arab, family values and friendship are vital. This personal relationship often take precedence over commercial ties. Whenever possible, try to establish a personal bond with your Arab partners or clients. So and don't forget to nurture and maintain them. Last one is the part is be patient. So the United Arab Emirates and the Arabs' sense of time differs largely from that of the Western world. So in the United Arab Emirates, everything processed at a much slower pace. So you must expect decision making to take longer than what you are used to. So it's not uncommon for companies to get frustrated, and discouraged and give up. So for those who are comprehend and be prepared for this with success in negotiating with the United Arab Emirates. Next is bargaining behaviors. First, you don't accept the first offer. Why you do not accept the first offer? Because when even when the other party's first offer is close to what you want, accepting it immediately will likely decrease their satisfaction in working with you. Next, be wiseful. So the wise negotiators course is aimed at experienced negotiators who need to take their skills to the next level. You will use recognized framework, increase your self-awareness, and develop new techniques to work through complex situations and challenging simulated negotiation scenarios. Next is remain calm. So when you stay focused on providing a solution and refuse to give in to their tactics, you will be able to remain positive and calm throughout the negotiation. So next is decision making. So for decision making, first managers reach a decision after referring to the major stakeholder. So decision making is a central responsibility of managers and leaders. It requires defining the issue of the problems and identifying the factors related to it. Doing so helps create a clear understanding of what needs to be decided and can influence the choice between alternatives. So next, second is employees do not publicly question the decisions that the manager have made. So this is happen. If this is happen, it is being a rude situation when an employee dispute a decision has been made by the manager. The third is risk-taking. Risk-taking is limited to those in the decision-making position. So they need to be responsible for their decision. Okay. Last one is communication style. First is begin with small talk, which is small talk is common, um, indeed expected, and is often the prelude to business discussion. Like for communication style, every countries have their own communication style. Like we in Malaysia also have a variety of communication style, but for United Arab Emirates, they begin with small talk. And next is have patience and talk casually. Don't so when you need to have patience and take talk casually. Don't you do not be rude when you talk with them, and try to control your emotions. Next is use titles when appropriate. So you should address someone by their appropriate title. For instance, you would create a man as a sheikh, which means chief, and a woman as a sheikha. And also when you also can call them Sayyid, which is mean Mister, and for Mrs. you can call them Sayyida. So, last one is uh, never criticize Islam. Why you cannot criticize Islam? Like we know that United Arab Emirates, their religion is Islam. So the majority of the population in United Arab Emirates is Islam. So it's being a big mistake if you criticize Islam when you are talking with them or when you are with them. So last so that's all from me. Shukran jazilan. Thank you so much for lending your ears. And last one is ila liqa. Goodbye.